Hello everyone, back to today's first video doing the ECMWF 30-day look ahead for today's first video for the UK and for the rest of Europe as well. So we'll be looking at mean sea level pressure and also temperature and rainfall precipitation anomalies for the next 4 weeks. It will take us into the second half of November. We can extend out to 6 weeks with this, of course, but we always stop at week 4 as it is a 30-day look ahead on a Tuesday. However, we will show you weeks 5 and 6 mean sea level pressure, temperature and precipitation anomalies in our live stream tomorrow from 6 p.m. in the evening. So you'll be able to see weeks 5 and 6 data from today's update of the ECMWF extended range model in the live stream tomorrow. But we're going to stop this video at week 4, and I shall get on that for you very shortly. This model updates twice a week, so it updates on a Tuesday and also on a Friday. And so on Friday we actually do the full 6-week extended look ahead in one video. That's always on a Friday evening around 5-6 o'clock, something like that. But yeah, the ECMWF opened up their treasure trove of data a couple of weeks ago, and it's really, really exciting that we can get to see all of this data that used to be, very hard to get hold of and to see. Used to be very, very, very much hidden away from the general public. But now it's all available to everybody, and you can find the link to ecmwf.it in the description with the video at YouTube and also on the links page at GavsWeatherVids.com. So coming up later on today, we'll have the 10 to 14 day video update. That will include all of regular features, and that will be coming up later on this afternoon. Right then, let's start off with week 1, mean sea level pressure anomaly, which takes us from the 26th of October to the 2nd of November. The coming week, we'll have low pressure to the north and west of Europe and high pressure from the Azores ridging in towards Spain. This low pressure is extending out into central and eastern parts of Europe. There is a ridge up to the far northeast Europe and into the northwest of Russia. But generally it's the Atlantic and the low pressure that is driving the weather this week. So with low pressure just there, high pressure just there, we're bringing in a strong jet stream through here, and we're bringing in westerlies as well. So this is an Atlantic-driven signal. Down here, where we've got this trough extending through here, it may be a little bit cooler as the air will be pushing in from the north. But generally, for most of Europe, this is a mild scenario for week 1. And we see this with our temperature anomalies as well. Most parts of Europe are coming out milder than average, particularly so for more northern and eastern parts of Europe. So yeah, we've got our scale down here, of course. So where we've got these orange to red colours, that's kind of going between around 6 and 10 degrees above average. So 6 to 8 degrees widely across much of northern and east Europe. A very, very mild week coming. It isn't quite as mild as that out in the west. We're in these sort of paler orange colours. Nevertheless, we're still sort of above average at around 1 to 3 degrees above average generally for much of northern and western Europe. It gets a little bit cooler as we go down into southern Europe. So from Spain to Italy, overall we're like up to a degree below average. So it is a little bit cooler down in the Med and from Italy to Spain and Portugal, although the southeastern Med is actually a little bit milder than average. So yeah, quite a mild week coming up, but also with an Atlantic-driven pattern, quite a wet week for Northern Europe as well. So rainfall anomalies look like this. You can see where the low pressure, the high pressure is, can't you? So we've got a drier than average week coming up for Spain and Portugal and many parts of central Mediterranean towards Italy as well, and even extending over the Adriatic into the Balkans. The southeastern Med is a little bit wetter than average through Greece, and then it goes drier again as we push over towards Turkey. But you can see where the high pressure is. The high pressure is over Spain and into central part of Med, and also of course extending back into the Atlantic to the Azores. See Azores high. Further north, so it's unsettled, it's wetter than average. So you see it's particularly wet like to the south of Greenland. So that's where the main low is driving the weather from just there. But generally UK, Ireland, sort of Germany, Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, Denmark, up to southern parts of Norway in particular, looking wetter than average through there. So the high pressure is through here, the low pressure is up there, and extending in with the jet stream as well. Gets a little bit patchy as we go further north and eastwards. So across Scandinavia, some areas are a bit drier than average. Central north parts of Norway, for example, drier than average, while northern and east parts of Sweden over to Finland look a little bit wetter than average. And then down into this northeastern corner, so like it's like Latvia, Estonia, and into northwest of Russia, it's a little bit drier than average through there. Further southwards, though, as we come into Ukraine, down towards Black Sea, possibly going a little bit wetter now. So on the east side of Europe, it gets a little bit patchier, with some areas drier, some areas wetter. But generally, the idea is that for northern and western Europe, I think we clearly see a westerly pattern here, with wet and average conditions for Ireland and the UK and the northwest Europe, and drier and average conditions for Spain, Portugal, and southern parts of Europe. Right, so that's week 1 done. Let's have a look at week 2 then. So this is week 2, mean sea level pressure anomaly, taking us from the 2nd to the 9th of November. Changes here, with above average heights then building up across western parts of Europe. Low pressure being pushed northwards. We've got low pressure moving northwards up towards Greenland, Iceland. Jet streams going northwards as well. And just got high pressure generally taking over across many sort of central and western parts of Europe. Over on the eastern side of Europe, so from Scandinavia down this east side of Europe, we've got near normal pressure, but the idea for this week is definitely high pressure building in to the west and also potentially to the north of Europe as well. So what that does with the temperature anomaly for week 2 is turns things cooler in the west. So Western Europe is generally turning a little bit cooler than average. Again, the temperature scale is just here, so those pale blue colours are going to be like just slightly below average to around a degree, I think, below average. So it turns a little bit cooler than average in the west of Europe. At the same time, though, much of northern and eastern Europe, so from Scandinavia, again, down toward the Black Sea, it's a little bit milder than average, not as mild as it is in week 1, but nevertheless still a little bit above average with temperatures there. And then the central and eastern parts of Europe, we have near normal temperature anomalies or no signal, but it probably is a little bit cooler in week 2 compared to week 1. Remember, it's taking us from the 2nd to the 9th of November. In Mediterranean, the central part of Mediterranean is cooler than average. It's a little bit on the cool side over on the east side of Med as well, and up towards the Balkans also. Spain, though, and Portugal going a little bit milder than average in this week. Week 2 precipitation anomaly from the 2nd to the 9th of November looks like that. So it's generally getting drier than average across much of West Europe as that high pressure builds in. So we see drier than average conditions extending from Ireland and the UK down through France, into Spain and Portugal, just extending into like the southwest of Germany. Anyway, most parts of the Med are looking dry also. So, yeah, pretty dry week coming up through the central and western parts of the Med. Balkans and Adriatic coast, again, rather dry and average through there. Possibly a bit wet average through the Greek islands. Further north of Scandinavia, it has above average precipitation. That's because we're bringing in a jet stream to the north of that high pressure, of course. So, above average rain, sleet or snow across Scandinavia, and then these east and northeast parts of Europe look a little bit drier than average. As we have this ridge just out to west of Ireland, we're probably pulling in like a west to northwesterly flow into the north and west Europe, which explains why the temperature anomaly is just coming out a little bit cooler across western parts of Europe. Right, week 3 is the 9th through to 16th of November. Basically the same pattern, really, just with slightly weak signals because we're going that bit further out. But essentially the mean sea level pressure anomaly still showing high pressure sitting over and to the west of the UK, low pressure up to the very far north, up towards Greenland, Iceland. This ridge does extend into western parts of Europe and into central Europe as well. Probably lower pressure through here. And again, probably a bit of a northwest-southeast alignment to a jet stream with this ridge of high pressure would tend to keep things cooler across western parts of Europe. That's what we see with the temperature anomaly. So again, this is from the 9th to 16th of November, week 3. Looks pretty cool for the west of Europe, actually, doesn't it, at this point? Most parts west of Europe, from like Germany all the way back to Ireland, down to France, down to Spain, Portugal, into the bulk of the Mediterranean, going cooler than average. Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, and the Low Countries included in that as well. So again, it's around a degree, or up to a degree below average. Some parts of France, for example, central France, possibly going to around 1 to 2 degrees below average. So really quite cold across some central parts of France. Any mild weather looks like it's in the extreme northeast and east of Europe. So yeah, we come down the eastern side of Europe, far east side of Europe, to west of Russia, and it does look milder there. Temperatures generally around 1 to 3 degrees above average in extreme east and northeast Europe. So possibly a bit of an east-west split setting up, actually. But definitely looking a lot cooler this week in the west. Of course, with that ridge of high pressure sending the jet stream on the northwest southeast line, we could expect frost under the area of high pressure. Week 3 precipitation anomalies going from the 9th to the 16th of November look like this. Drier than average, really, across most parts of West Europe. Again, sort of northern Spain, Portugal, France, into Ireland, UK, Western Germany, Belgium, Holland, Netherlands. All of those sort of areas coming out drier than average. Also a little bit above average for precipitation for Scandinavia. And then again, most parts of Eastern Europe having no signal, but possibly a little bit more unsettled through there. Again, in the Mediterranean, it's the western central part of the Med that looks most settled. The east part of Med could hint at being a little bit more unsettled. And then finally for this video, we're going to finish up with week 4, because it is a 30-day look ahead. So this is going to take us from the 16th to 23rd of November with mean sea level pressure anomalies. Very weak signals by this point. Very little to be seen. It does look as though, as we've gone from having that ridge centred just over to west of Ireland and the UK in weeks 2 and 3, by weeks 4 that's gone. So it does look as though we're probably weakening the ridge and maybe starting to turn things a little bit more unsettled, but there is not really enough to go on there to say what is happening in that week 4 period. Let's see if the temperature anomaly shows anything, shows anything that we can work with. So still also a little bit on the cooler side for Western Europe, really. It is a weaker signal again, but overall still looks rather cooler than average, close to Ireland and the UK, probably down to Spain and Portugal. All those areas that are cooler than average in weeks 2 and 3 still look rather cool, actually, as we go through to week 4. Northern and eastern parts of Europe, again, looking above average. Central and eastern parts of Europe having no signal in week 4. And then finally, week 4, precipitation anomaly is looking like that. Again, very, very weak signals. So a little bit of a mystery what's happening there as we go into the second half of November into week 4. As I say, weeks 5 and 6 will extend us from the 23rd of November to the 7th of December, and we'll have a look at that time frame period for weeks 5 and 6 in our live stream tomorrow, which will be from 6 o'clock in the evening, where we'll live stream a 10 to 14 day update, but we will include weeks 5 and 6 mean sea level pressure, temperature and precipitation data from the ECMWF in the live stream as well. Right, okay, so that's the ECMWF 30-day look ahead done. Basically, we're looking at quite a cool period, I think, for much of Western Europe, although we're starting off mild this week. It does look as though we get into November, and we will see quite a big cool down for much of Western Europe, always a little bit milder on the east side of Europe, with high pressure dominating through the first half of November, probably relatively dry for much of Western Europe as well. Just a snapshot of what Molly showed. Could all look very, very different next week. Any forecast beyond 5-7 days is fraught with danger. We're going to be back later on with your 10 to 14 day update, including all operating features. Come back for that then. For the ECMWF 30-day look ahead for this week, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.